Hello, Cancer. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Chakra Wisdom Tarot by Tori Hartman. Yep. Supportive Oracle cards. I thought I said it wrong for a second there. The Spirit Animal Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. So, we got that going on. Cancer. I don't know why. We're going to start out face down. Don't know why. I don't even know why I mentioned it to people, because you can't really even see it until I start showing you the cards. So, I don't know if we want the rest of these. Okay. A lot of cards. Let's see what happens. All right. Do we like this energy? We'll find out in a second. Some of these things, and especially if you've gotten personal reads from me, like putting the cards out first is great, but until I pick them up, sometimes the message, the real message, doesn't really start to show itself until I start feeling that energy. Because I'm seeing a card over here and I'm questioning if I like it or not. There's a lot going on over here. Ooh. Now I'm just judging the cards I'm seeing, just quickly, snap judgment. It ends really well. Ends really well. What are we going through? Now, going into this, and I'm not really surprised with Cancer that this is here, you're putting in a lot of energy and effort, but it's definitely in something you really believe in, which I feel like you're very good at being supportive when it's something you truly believe in, which I know that may sound kind of like, generic, but to me, when it comes to Cancer, like, they will devote themselves to a cause if they really do believe in it. If it's a person, especially, if, like, for example, the mother-child thing, or even a father-child, I mean, not to be weird about it or anything, or if there's some type of bond, at least a family bond, especially for Cancer, can definitely go with a friend connection. That is definitely like a very strong friend connection, though, with this one. Kind of like this is somebody that you feel like you invest your time in them. You know you can rely on them to be there for you, and you're there for them. Like, it's a strong bond. And when you believe in that, you put a lot of effort into it, and you're just very diligent with it. I feel like at this point in the game, though, whatever's going on, you're being very giving. But you realize that when you need that help, it'll come back your way. It's having that trust and faith in the situation, putting in a lot of effort, but it's kind of like, no, it's fine. There's no reservation about it or no holding back about it. It just needs to be done, so you do it. Be careful not to do this to a fault. So especially for those of you who are coming at this situation, and this is where you are, you're at that part where you're putting in a lot of effort. Don't pull in so much effort. Don't put in so much effort that you actually take on other people's share, like you're doing somebody else's work, thinking it's nice, when you really need to let them invest too. Don't do too much. I see people do this, especially parent-child relationships, where sometimes the parent will go a little bit overboard, thinking it's a good thing for their kid, like it's a nice thing to do for them, but they're kind of cheating their kid out of learning the responsibility and the lesson themselves, and getting, you don't want to cheat somebody out of an opportunity because you feel like it's a nice thing to do. Be careful of that. Because Cancers, especially, again, when they believe in somebody or a situation, they're very, very giving. They can be very easily giving. But don't do it to a point where you're actually not serving the situation. It may feel like you are, but you want to give somebody the ability to build it on their own so they can have that self-respect to know that they created it themselves. So be careful of that. Because I feel like if you see it in that perspective, you're like, oh, yeah, you'll back up and be like, yeah, no, I want them to have that satisfaction too, so I don't want to take that from them. Well, if you see it that way, but if you feel like, oh, they don't want to do it, so I'll just do it for them, it might be hard for you to pull back because you're like, no, I'll just get it out of the way for them so they don't have to deal with it. And you're kind of cheating them out of the satisfaction of knowing they did it themselves. I feel like if you see it at the right perspective, you'll get what I'm saying and you'll pull back without hesitation. Now, the energy around you, it's very busy energy. There's more than you connected with this, and for the people this is hitting with, definitely. There's more than you connected with this, with the Three of... Is that Cups or Pentacles? Cups. You have Pentacles coming up, the Three of Pentacles, which I like for you. It's coming in with Panther. Now, without... I gotta read I haven't read the caption below it, but when I feel Panther, I feel a lot of strength waiting, a lot of strength, like, you know, not wasted effort, but you know what I mean? Like, you wait in the side, you got the strength to go in there and do the fight, but you're waiting for your moment. You don't just like go out there willy-nilly. You're looking, you're paying attention. Now, this is the energy that's around you, that's very selective about who it chooses and what it does, but it has a lot of effort in there. Someone's trying to direct this situation because there's a lot of people involved, and I almost feel like sometimes there's a little twinge of kind of like they don't want to deal with this one, so they hold back, and they might be conveniently late, so they don't have to deal with somebody, or they can let somebody go off and do what they have to do, and they'll kind of snake in, or they'll show up like a half hour or an hour early so they can start getting into something and not have to deal with people the same way. Very cunning energy, but a very good energy at the same time. So you might have somebody, I know that's not, no, I do feel like this is somebody who holds to the side, waits for the opportunity, looks here, looks there, and then moves forward when it best serves them. But this is definitely a helpful energy. It's kind of like they're not afraid to help. They're very willing to help, but they're not looking to like make it a difficult situation. They'll help in a way that's easy for them to help, but they'll definitely put in that effort. But they're very selective and calculating is what I'm getting. What is the message? Reclaim your power? It kind of fits. I'm getting that they're kind of like just waiting and just, okay, I'll help now. Here comes Cuckoo. All right, I'm out. And then once Cuckoo leaves again, they're like, okay, I'm back, and I'll do this. Yeah, they're coming back? Well, I gotta go. That's the energy you're dealing with. But there's a lot of help here. I feel like you're going to notice somebody kind of flitting in and out, and you're kind of going to be like, what's the deal with that? There's somebody they don't want to deal with, or somebody they don't want to talk to. That's what that's about. If you really read between the lines, you'll probably figure it out. I'm getting a lot of you maybe don't really want to figure it out, and I feel like that's the heads up with this. Kind of like, instead of looking between the lines, maybe just ignore it and let it be, because it's maybe something you don't really want to know about. Maybe it's something you just rather stay out of. So if you don't pay attention, you don't have to deal with it, you don't have to know about it. I feel like that's the advice here. If somebody's acting a little dodgy or a little weird, they are helping, but they're doing weird things, ignore it. It serves you better. You will see something pop up about that. There'll be somebody's going to pop up or pop off. That's what I want to say. Somebody's going to have an issue with it. Something. Let it be. Try to stay out of it. They're saying this in this part, like at this point, you want to try to position yourself in a way that you don't know that much, because if you don't know that much, you don't have to be involved, and you don't want to be. I'm getting again, you don't want to be. Because even if you know what's going on, you're not going to be able to really help. It just might drag you into some of the confusion that you don't want to be a part of. Let it go on its own. Just let it go on its own. Star card with the Five of Cups is saying there's going to be a little bit of a disruption here. I just feel like you don't have to be involved. It's not the Five of Wands, which is telling, that's like if you're going to be right in the middle of it. I don't feel like you have to be, but even though it's the Five of Cups, I feel like you could get dragged into an argument if you're not careful. So be careful with that. The Star card especially is saying just let it sort itself out. Be optimistic about it. Just be like, well, they'll handle it themselves. As we keep going forward, I am noticing like whatever's going on here, you seem to be... It's got Nightingale, which makes me feel like a very beautiful song. It says love is all around, which kind of fits with the card you have with the Tower. There's going to be some disruptions going on around you. If you don't know what's really going on, if you kind of stay out of it, you can play peacemaker a lot more successfully. Because if you're trying to make people get along or trying to help people get along, and then somebody says, well, and what do you think about that? And you're like, well, I didn't know about that, and I haven't seen that, so I don't know. You can kind of pull back. You can help things smooth out. This really feels to me like the more you know about what's actually going on, the harder that is to do. Because you're like, you're kind of like, you'll understand why certain people are upset. It's going to be hard to calm them down because you'll be like, well, that pisses me off too. I don't know how that sounds coming out of my mouth, but I feel like if you can help squelch this a lot better if you don't really know what's going on. I just feel like that's the strangest thing to say. The Tower card especially is like things are going to be a little bit volatile for a minute. I don't feel like you have to be pulled into an argument, but it's like you could be part of the effort of kind of like, let's just calm it down. Let's just try to get along. Let's let the people who are that it's happening to, let's let them deal with it. It's almost like somebody over here that you care about is dealing with a problem with someone else, and if you don't know what's really going on, you'd be like, well, let them handle their mess. Let them do what they need to do. Let them make their own decisions. Again, though, I feel like if you know what's going on, you might have a different perspective of that. I don't know how to take that. I don't know where to go with that. Because I'm like, like when I'm feeling it, I'm just like, well, shouldn't I know what's going on if I'm going to try to squelch a situation? I just feel like it's going to make you a lot more, it's going to make it a lot more difficult. I just really feel that. Because you got these two cards coming in, the Nine of Coins with the Nine of Swords. It's a situation that you don't want to fall apart, but but if you know what's going on, which at some point the truth might flow through anyway, it's kind of like it's hard to help fix it if you really know. I don't know what to say about that. That really makes me conflicted with that. Kind of like you want to give the right people the right support, you know? I'm conflicted. Personally, I'm conflicted about this. Like, this is strange. But they keep saying if you don't know, you can help calm the energy. And at this point, it's about calming the energy. Once the energy has calmed down, people can make rational decisions and do what they need to do next. If you know I feel like if you know what's happening here, it's going to upset you, and it's going to be hard to be non-partial. What do you call that? Objective. It's going to be hard to be objective. It's going to be really hard. And this is a situation that's it's causing stress. I'm getting this with the Strength card. It's causing stress. I find this very curious to me. Like, they keep saying you don't want to know what's going on. Just stay out of it. It makes it so much easier. If you know what's going on, you're going to get upset too. And you might actually, not trying to, but by expressing how you feel and like, yeah, no, I'd be pissed too. No, that ain't right. That could amp it up and make it worse. Not like you're trying to, but just like you feeling, it seems to add into the negativity a little bit. You're not looking to do that. I know that's the energy I'm feeling is like that's not your purpose. That's not why. But like it'll piss you off too. It will tick you off. Whatever it is that's going on here. I don't know. You got to do with it what you think is right. I'm personally conflicted. I'm just kind of like, you don't want to give support to somebody who doesn't deserve it. You want to support somebody who seems to need it. But I feel like what they're saying is you want to squelch it. You don't want to amp it up. And if you know what's going on, it's going to amp it up. It just seems to. Because you're a very, very supportive person, and I think that's why. Like, somebody's upset, and you're like, yeah, no, I completely get that. You're right. It's gonna like put wind in their sails. They're gonna take it farther. Yeah. It just makes more fallout. It makes more fallout. The Strength card coming in with the Seven of Cups is telling me things have to be worked out. Things have to be figured out with what's going on around you. Now, I'm an intuitive reader. I'm going to say this. So when I'm feeling the snake here, snake goes a lot of different ways for me. Sometimes it's very biting and attacking. Sometimes it's about metamorphosis and change. It says a time to heal here. I feel like all that rolled into one right now is kind of what I'm feeling, especially with the Ace of Swords. Kind of like there's some venom flying around here. It's in the environment. There's going to be some venom flying around, and it's about healing. It's like things are changing here. There's a big upset going on here. There's a lot of venom flying around, but the thing is, the goal is to move it towards a place of healing and not more destruction. It doesn't need to be completely obliterated, but like that's again why you don't want to be involved in this. So you can let it kind of calm down. You can be a calming influence on it, so the situation can settle and then heal. As long as it's volatile and popping up, it's not going to have that ability to really heal. And the Ace of Swords is telling me there's a lot of communication here, a lot of people swinging swords. The Ace of Swords is a very strong start. This could be the strong start where it could go into a really long battle. It could. I don't know. It's up in the air. This is the environment. I just don't feel like you want to be a part of this. That's what I keep getting over and over again. They're trying to help you find a way around this so you don't have to be locked into this. There's a lot of mystery. There's also a lot of back and forth. If you're dealing with a couple, like There's people you know, maybe it's a sibling and their partner, or maybe it's a friend and their partner, or maybe it's two people that are both your friends, you know what I mean, and they're arguing. Whoever it is that's having this argument, this thing going on around you, they're going to do this break up, make up thing. And even if it's not a romantic thing, there's people that get along, don't get along, get along, don't get along, get along, don't get along. It's make up, break up, make up, break up, make up, break up. You don't want to get caught in this ridiculousness, because they're going to be mad one day, they're going to try to get along the next. You're just not going to know what they're doing. You got the moon card, like, from one day to the next, it just seems to go left, it goes right, it goes left, it goes right, it goes left, it goes right. It's like when you're agreeing with that's not right. If you know what's going on, you're like, that's bullshit. Then all of a sudden, when they're getting along, like, you're causing problems. You're the bad guy. But then when they're not getting along, whoever it is you believe is correct, which you're probably right, then all of a sudden you're their best friend, and it's an up down thing. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because I'm getting here with the bear. Is it brown? Bear and the sandpiper. See, when I'm getting bear, I'm getting like when they're pissed. When a bear's ticked off, like it's not gonna go well. It's not gonna go well. And the bird there is kind of like, I'm getting like an attitude from this bird. It says playful, doesn't it? Be playful. But it might be a playful energy, kind of like depending on how the mood goes. Like if somebody's in a good mood and they want to be playful, then that's fun, hopefully for everybody. If they want to be playful and they're in like a little bit of a jerk mood, that might be just fun for them, and that might be destructive for others. Be careful. This is a weird energy. I am definitely an intuitive reader, so I just go with what I get off of these. Keep that in mind. Ooh, that you don't want to be a part of this. You do not want to be a part of this any more than you have to, because it's gonna be like pull you one way, pull you the other, pull this way, pull that way. It's like, get off me. It's ridiculous. This is telling me. Ooh. There's a lot here when this goes on. Rhino, rabbit, squirrel, and bobcat. Squirrel. Yeah, squirrel. Squirrel. It's crazy. This is a situation you don't want to see fall apart. You genuinely care about who the people involved in this. You genuinely do care. Very much so. So your goal is to like have things work out if possible. You want to be happy with them. You want them to be happy with you. The squirrel energy, the rhino, those two together is kind of like things going off all over the place, but then a lot of energy popping off at the same time. It's like a lot of different things going off, but a lot of pressure behind it at the same time is what I'm getting. A little confusing. The bobcat, what's the last one? The rabbit. The rabbit with the squirrel especially. Quick movements, random all over the place. The bobcat is like things popping out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere. The rhino is like, but there's a lot of strength behind it. Be careful. Be careful. Don't get caught up in this circus. Try your best to not be. Try to take things as objectively as possible. I feel like that's really hard. You want to do your best to like step back. Like personally, if I'm arguing with somebody and it seems to be by text, sometimes I get myself this 5-minute rule. Like I won't respond for 5. Whatever they say, I will wait 5 minutes before I respond, just to see if anything else comes through, and also give myself to really think. Hopefully, sometimes 5 minutes isn't enough. Once in a while, I'll make it like I'm done for today. I'm not responding anymore till tomorrow, because sometimes you need that back up and cool down situation. I don't see you. I don't know. Be careful. You still have the ability to get pulled into this situation more than you want to be. You do seem to be a part of the solution here. I think that's why this keeps going, and this is a long one. Wow. 3 of coins is telling me you do have an option to be an option. You're supposed to be a part of the solution here. You want to step back and be as objective as possible. Watch it day by day, how they're treating each other, how one day they're good, the next day they're bad, whatever's going on here. Because you might just kind of like just step back and just remember, like today is good, but tomorrow may not be, or today's not good, but tomorrow maybe. Just realize that this roller coaster is happening. You want to be careful, and you want to try to like, if they're doing really well, they're like, okay, well, you're great. I'm glad you're doing well today. Is this going to last? Like trying to help them work out their problems while they're in a good mood. If they're not in a good mood, holding back and being careful not to amp it up. not that you're trying to, but just be careful what you say, because what seems to be okay today is going to backlash against you tomorrow. You seem to be a part of this. You can't seem to get out of it. You are going to help solve it and bring it back around. Just be aware of the circus. Like, be aware of the circus. And hopefully be as objective as you can. It's hard. I feel like this is hard. This feels like a hard situation. But if you see this coming and you see this up and down crazy motion coming, I feel like you can be more objective, and you might, like, you know, when you start seeing text go through or somebody's commenting this or commenting that, you might hold back a little bit more and be like, all right, that's what's happening right now, but let me wait, see what else happens, and let them kind of sort it out. I'm going to be careful not to add into this. Do your best. Do your best. Be careful of the circus. Like, be aware of the circus. Try not to become a part of it. I think this is helpful, saying that, like, as long as I feel like that we're giving you a good perspective here, so I think it's going to be okay. This can turn around and be a lot better. They're just trying to give you a heads up about what's coming towards you. All right, I'm going to shut down this right here. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, james4astral@gmail.com, james4astral@gmail.com. Thank you.